Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. And today, as you can see, we're at EuroMpire, and we're here because I have a viewer that had actually talked to me a while ago and asked me if I wanted to use their car for content. And more specifically, he was asking me about the turbo options for the B58. For his power goals, I recommended the Pure 800. And seeing as the Pure 800 is doing really well right now, I think it's a great option for the B58. So he decided to go ahead and drive from Georgia and bring the car to North Carolina to EuroMpire and have the experts here install the turbo for them. So today we're going to be doing the installation of the Pure 800 on the B58. Now, since my car already has the Big Boost Stage 4 turbo and my car is down right now, I can't document that on my own car, but I'm very, very thankful for him and letting me use this car to bring you guys more content. So huge shout out to him. I'm not going to disclose his name because privacy reasons, but I do want to give him a massive shout out. So if you're watching this, thank you, bro. I really appreciate you. Anyway, along with the turbo swap that he's going to do, he's also going to do the brake line upgrade that I had on my channel, and he's also going to be doing the transmission and rear differential service. But we're not going to be documenting that because this isn't really about all that. This is about the turbo up at the front. Car, guys, it is beautiful, red interior and gray. He's got the aluminum going on in there. He's got the carbon going on right here. He's got the 437Ms just like me, but mine are painted black. And if you look under the hood, it is totally stock. And I'm willing to bet it's actually completely stock. Man, I haven't seen an engine bay this stock in a while. If you look back here, he's got a Dorch Engineering fuel pump. I did not know that. So we'll be looking at all that when we start working on the car. Now, the Pure 800 is ideal to most consumers for a few reasons. The main reason is actually that it is literally a drop-in turbo kit, meaning there's not really any custom parts going to it except for like the inlet, but everything else is basically the same stock turbo, because all that Pure really does is it bores out the housing to allow for a bigger wheel to fit in there, and that can be good and bad, right? So it's good because you save your stock turbo location and everything, it's basically a direct bolt-on. But in my opinion, and just with material science knowledge, that's not really great, because you're effectively altering the structure of the turbo and actually reducing the strength of the housing. Now, I don't know what their exact process is, and so far these turbos have held up pretty well, so that's good, obviously, but to me it just doesn't make much sense to do that. So that's why I personally didn't go with the Pure 800, and I decided to go with a Big Boost kit, because that turbo is designed with the wheel and everything in mind, instead of just boring out a stock turbo. But these turbos have done pretty well, so I can't really judge too much there. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this process. I'm gonna try to be as detailed as I can, because this really is a very easy installation. Let's go ahead and get to it. He came prepared with everything. Kit comes with, well, I don't know if it comes with or if it's an option, but here's that inlet. Down here we have the actual turbo, and as you can see, it's essentially the stock turbo, but they bore it out and fit it with a bigger wheel. And I'll give you a better view once we take it out of this bag. And of course we have the gasket. That's the ethanol,
like the Bluetooth or something.
Yeah,
like that?
It's from Spool.
Gotcha.
So, but he actually got it working kind of like how I did with the Dorch line.
Yeah.
And then with the actual spool line, and then just connected it back here. Take off all the intake stuff, right? so now we
got one missing here.
unplugged
Has this been off before?
with the heat shield.
Yeah,
Maybe.
got one missing. Interesting.
So yeah, we removed the whole intake assembly. We'll be removing that, and then you gotta unplug the O2 sensors, and then everything else just kind of bolts off. Right now we're unbolting the heat shield that's between the turbo and pretty much the valve cover. So removing the turbo is going to be pretty much the same across the board, no matter what turbo kit you're putting after it. I need to get me one of those.
Dude, these little ratchets come in so handy.
Crankcase ventilation hose. Those are also pain. I hate those. So you disconnect what, the little heater thing, right? And then the
Yeah, it's a PCV heater.
the electronic wastegate.
So it doesn't freeze in the wintertime.
The man with the knowledge.
Most people just delete those. It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah,
Unless
what I did.
Unless you were in like a super cold climate. So what can happen is if you get a lot of moisture in here, especially after you turn the car off, right? You got a hot engine, and all that moisture condensates in there and it actually freezes. Then you can basically have a blocked PCV system when you start the car the next time, which is why that's there.
Mine's deleted completely, so I don't have to worry about that.
Most people with catch cans don't have those anymore. So, and the car. I don't know about the B58, but I know like the N54 and N55 won't throw codes for it being unplugged.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these are fun.
The hated C-clamp or whatever it is. What are they called?
Yeah. That's probably about what you would
Charge
call
pipe
it.
clamp is
Well,
pain to take off.
technically inlet clamp, but
Oh yeah, that is the
inlet clamp. Yeah, I don't
on the charge pipe.
I don't necessarily know what. I don't know the technical term for those.
I think it was the charge pipe one that took you forever last time.
No, it was that thing.
It was this one?
Yeah, I just I've done a few since then, so I figured out the right
the right tools for
exactly. The right combo.
Alright.
Obvious.
Comes out. You know the thing about these is this is also like a resonator at the bottom.
Yeah,
a little baffle.
Yeah, to make those normal BMW owners not hear their intake noise.
That's why if you want that full turbo sound, you have to replace the bottom.
Which I think this
top.
comes with, doesn't it? Comes with
Yeah.
work.
I'm telling you, this is the one.
Oh, this is the one that was a pain in the
This
ass,
is the
wasn't
one.
it?
Yeah,
it was, because it's like at a weird angle.
Yeah. Yeah, the charge pipe clamp is something different. And I actually think you had like 2 different pick tools.
I think I did.
Last time, holding it, and yeah. Alright, so we got the clamp off finally. Probably need like 4 screwdrivers to get that off.
At least 3. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can use picks, screwdrivers, anything just to get that clamp. You have to release it in like 3 different spots. It'll come off eventually.
Yeah, it comes off, and we recommend taking the charge pipe off.
You want it to come off in one piece,
Exactly.
not multiple pieces.
Alright, so now we got the charge pipe off, and what are we gonna do next?
Probably the best thing to do is to go down and disconnect the downpipe and see what lines we need to take loose so that we can catch any fluids that leak out while we're down there.
Taking the downpipe off.
I don't know if we're gonna take it all the way off, but we gotta at least drop it a little bit. So.
Alright, so we took the downpipe off, and it's catless. Next thing, we're gonna work on getting the turbo off of the car. It's kind of interesting to see the underbody of this car because it's a little bit different than mine. And with it not being xDrive, it actually looks a lot more open. Bye-bye, stock turbo. Alright guys, so now the car's back down on the ground. I actually had to go take a short break, but we took off all the lines, right?
Yeah, all the lines are disconnected. Pretty straightforward. Got your oil feed there. Coolant. I believe that's the coolant
right down there.
One of the coolant lines right there. Yeah, that's the oil feed that pops off. The oil drain, obviously at the bottom, right down there. And then you have the kind of one that's a little tricky here. Here, why don't we switch spots? You can see here, you actually disconnect this line right here. You have to pull back this heat shielding, and there's actually a clamp right there, one of those constant tension clamps. Use a pair of pliers, or if you have the fancy, like, what is it? I forget what it's called, but it's this tool here. Makes it really easy. These guys. Worth it.
Never seen that tool before. And that's pretty much ready to be popped off, right?
Yeah, just got to get the all the manifold bolts off, and she should be free.
Turbo's coming off. Yes, sir. So there's a brace that we couldn't see, but you have to unbolt it from here.
We can unbolt it from the block. We'll probably go ahead and take it off the block. Or at least,
might be easier.
I'll at least loosen these a couple turns, so that way it makes lining that up a lot easier.
Let's talk about this bar, because this bar, we removed it, but we don't actually have to remove it. The way the bar goes on there, when you mount the manifold, it actually just lines up in there and just kind of stays.
Yep. And I was not aware of that.
I could have told you that, but
Hey,
I wasn't sure.
You were getting food.
I know, I wasn't sure what you were doing either.
I've done a ton of N54 and N55 turbos. First time doing a B58, so
it's all good. It's all good.
It's definitely a lot different mounting design.
Yeah.
The N54 and N55 actually use like these donut gaskets. Like they look like little donuts, and this just uses more of a traditional like exhaust manifold, like flat. Looks like a couple layers, probably like multi-layer steel gasket, kind of like a head gasket. And what is that, like, is it 2 or 3? Yeah, it looks like 3 layers.
It's also simpler though, I feel, right? Because that bar.
Yeah, the exhaust ports definitely are bigger on this, man, for sure, on a B58. I don't know if you've ever seen like a turbo off a, well, I have an M54 over there. I mean, you can see them. Like, look at the exhaust ports on these, how they're oval like that. And 54 right here. But you see what I was talking about? How like it actually, there's a like a donut gasket that goes in there.
Right, and on that it just looks like it just has a mounting bracket, and then
yeah, you just
the little gasket.
The little donuts go on. Like you normally put them on like the manifold side, and then they basically like compress in there and kind of conform and create a seal.
The universal cleaner. Using brake cleaner to clean up all the oil and grease and stuff. Is this your first Pure 800?
Yeah. Yep.
What turbo is that?
Pure 800.
So here we have the regular stock turbo. You can see the wheel in there. And then we have the Pure with that nice impeller in there. These impellers are really pretty. But basically they bore out the turbo, put on a bigger inlet. So you can see here they weld that on. But everything else is pretty much the same. And then you just transfer everything, all these lines and stuff, over to the new turbo. And that's pretty much it. Drop in, easy. Oh, and also the wastegate actuator. We have to put that over here, put it back in the car, and pretty much done. What are we trying to do right now?
The dowels that the gasket slides onto are just a little bit corroded.
Finally got the gasket to fit.
Go ahead and swap over the wastegates.
pry tool.
Yeah, this is normally one of the least fun parts.
Yeah. I think that's why Matt took them off while the turbo was still on the car.
Yeah, as you know, turbos are pretty hot, so these things normally get pretty stuck in there.
Yeah. It's coming.
Coolant lines, yeah.
This is the oil.
Yeah, it's your oil drain, oil feed, yeah. So, pretty common. These are normally stacked like that. I'm assuming this kit came with new O-rings. I hope it did, because if not, we'll be, we'll be at a standstill, because there's no way you're reusing this.
There you go. Jeez.
So, yeah, those suckers, that's what they normally look like. This is actually not too bad. It's probably pretty low mileage. I didn't even pay attention to what the mileage was, but they can definitely be a lot worse than that, especially on like some of your N54 and N50, like higher mileage N55.
I think the odometer is reading 76K.
Yep. That's still pretty young for these motors.
Yeah, not bad at all.
The oil feed line could be a pain if it's been in there for a while. Open up our new O-rings.
So we got some new O-rings for all of these lines. So make sure you change your O-rings. Gotta lube it up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
These are the coolant ones.
These are the coolant ones, yeah, and obviously once you get the O-rings off, you need to clean these up really good so you're not, you don't have all this crap you're putting in a brand new turbo. But you see the difference, right?
Yeah.
The one that's in the side that's in the turbo and the side that's in the block. The side that's in the block, honestly, I mean, we would never do that, but like you could probably reuse this O-ring and it would be just fine. Where that one in the turbo was freaking cooked. Yeah.
Transfer the wastegate actuator. That's all the work for today. Finish it up tomorrow. 5:43. Unless you want to mount it.
Yeah, we might as well mount it. We got enough time to mount it.
There you go.
Mind pulling that out of the way real quick right there?
What?
That little plastic right here.
Oh. There you go. Should be good.
Yeah, that's all that was holding me up. That little thing. Are you sure you can set it in there with that bar on?
Yes, sir. Push in the bottom a little bit more.
Didn't you guys mount the manifold first and then the turbo?
Nope. There was no way we could have done that. Notice.
So it definitely helps to have two sets of hands to get this thing on. That's heavy, trying to do that by yourself. So obviously we stopped recording there for a second, but Jamie helped me actually get this on there.
So it's kind of tricky to get it in there because you almost have to kind of tuck the turbo under into the block and then get it to fit. And this section is the most solid section, so it's probably gonna be the hardest. And before you put that in, remember there's a bar at the top.
You're right.
For those of you that think I'm pretending that I know shit about this. Nah, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. If you want to know a secret, Matt actually forgot the bar too.
I bet he did. Well, because it's set up there. Normally, I would have set it on the side. So what the concept is, as you tighten these down, it actually forces, it will actually tighten, but it'll also force it down, which, because I was gonna say, only having pressure on the top makes no sense. So yeah, so that's, I guess, how it seals the bottom too.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting
I actually think it's kind of smart.
It is, no, it is. It's a cool design.
But it pretty much makes sure that everything lines up, but it's getting tightened up at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of these.
Oh yeah.
In the future.
Is this the second B58 turbo swap at this shop?
I believe yours was the first one,
right?
Yeah. I mean, the N55s right now, we're doing it. I mean, we do those all the time. We still do, obviously, we still do N54s too. The last N54 we did was actually well, other than my own single turbo, was a single turbo kit. Those are pretty cool. Those will make mid fives just on pump gas on a single turbo setup, which they will. I mean, they will for the most part on twins too. It's just a different power curve. Not like these things where like the torque is basically just a straight line, just right to the top at like, you know, 1800 RPMs.
Yeah. All right, and you just bolt those babies in. So he's gonna bolt that in, but that's gonna be pretty much it for today.
And we'll probably get started with the lines.
Tomorrow morning we're gonna pretty much finish her up. And then there's gonna be some dyno tuning that I'll put in a separate video. And keep this interesting. This is the first Pure 800 that I see up close, so it's good to see the different turbo kits out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow.